Bajrangi battle in Karnataka. Modi leads BJP's new war cry.
दोनों हाथ ऊपर करके मेरे साथ बोलिए, बजरंगबली की।
Backlash on Congress Bajrang Dal ban plan. The god who was born in Karnataka. The flashpoint of biggest political war. Top focus on 5 Live.
It's the biggest flashpoint thus far in the slog overs of the Karnataka campaign. The Congress's promise to ban the Bajrang Dal if it comes to power in the Karnataka election has positively exploded, not just in coastal Karnataka where you think communal issues take charge, but all across Karnataka. We're going to be debating the big fallout of that big promise from the Congress party. I'm Shiv, Aroor, fresh out of Karnataka, back in the studio to bring you our leading coverage of poll-bound Karnataka. First, the headlines. Prime Minister's last mile campaign push in state of war Karnataka. He will be holding a 37-kilometer roadshow in Bengaluru this Saturday. Will Modi magic work for the BJP? That's our big question at 5:30 p.m. The Sharad Pawar suspense continues in the NCP. His nephew Ajit Pawar says he doesn't want to be party chief. Jitendra Ahwad and Anil Patil also resigned from party posts. Big relief for the Kerala story in top court. Supreme Court rejects plea seeking disclaimer in the movie. Supreme Court asks petitioners to approach the Kerala High Court first. Indian Olympic Association chief P.T. Usha meets protesting wrestlers at Delhi's Jantar Mantar. This after she called the agitation an act of indiscipline. Wrestlers defiant say won't stop agitation till they get justice. India gears up for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO foreign ministers meet in Goa. External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar in Goa ahead of the meet. His Pakistani counterpart Bilawal Bhutto lands tomorrow.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist. Powered by Jaguar. Discover the magic of smart lights.
"30 hours ago, the Congress party made the manifesto promise in poll-bound Karnataka that should it be voted to power, it will ban the Bajrang Dal, very much like the Modi government banned the Popular Front of India. And in the last 30 hours, no other story has dominated poll-bound Karnataka like the promised ban of the Bajrang Dal. It's escalated into an all-out political war. A day after the Congress announced the ban in its manifesto, the Hindu outfit and the BJP have gone even more on the offensive. The Prime Minister is pitching himself as a Hanuman Bhakt, ending all his rallies with the chant, Jai Bajrangbali. Has the Congress scored a massive self-goal by handing a polarizing issue to the BJP just days before this election?
दोनों हाथ ऊपर करके मेरे साथ बोलिए, बजरंगबली की, बजरंगबली की।
Bajrangbali, the revered Hindu god, is the new flashpoint in battleground Karnataka. Congress poll promise to ban Bajrang Dal, equating it with Islamist radical PFI, has triggered a massive slugfest, triggering angry protest by the Bajrang Dal and big attacks from the BJP, which called it Congress siding with PFI.
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಆರಿಸಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಜರಂಗ ದಳ ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಅವರ ನೀತಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಬಜರಂಗ ದಳ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕವಾಗಿ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಘ. PFIಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೋಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. PFI ये देश से विरुद्ध चटवटिके ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
सिद्धारमैया जी को पहले PFI के विषय पर कर्नाटक की जनता से माफी मांगनी चाहिए, जिसने 175 केस वापस लिए. आज PFI बोल रहे बैन करेंगे. ये तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने एजेंडा सेट किया है, इसलिए तुमको बोलना पड़ रहा है.
But equating Bajrang Dal to PFI, which is a terror organization, is something that has taken Congress to the highest point of appeasement politics.
The Bajrangis staged protest in multiple cities, burnt Congress manifesto, and held Hanuman Chalisa chants in protest. Bajrang Dal workers clashed with police in Hyderabad. Protesters chanting Jai Shri Ram were detained by cops. The Congress accused Prime Minister Modi of hurting religious sentiments of Hindus by equating Lord Hanuman with the Bajrang Dal.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में बजरंग बली को थाने में बंद करने का निर्णय किया है. पहले प्रभु श्री राम को ताले में बंद किया और अब जय बजरंग बली बोलने वालों को ताले में बंद करने का संकल्प लिया है.
ये रक्षा करते हैं हमारी. मोदी जी आपसे भी यही रक्षा करते हैं हमारी. इनसे आप तुलना कर रहे हैं बजरंग दल की. बजरंग दल की तुलना बजरंगी से करें और हम बर्दाश्त कर लेंगे? ये अपमान नहीं सहेंगे हम. कैसे अपमान कर सकते हैं वो बजरंग बली का हम?
During his mammoth rallies, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is making it a point to chant Bajrang Bali ki Jai to drive home the point that BJP will make it a poll issue.
बजरंग बली की, बजरंग बली की.
With Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Bureau Report, India Today.
भारत माता की.
Just to refresh your view, viewer, about what the Bajrang Dal is, what are the roots of this organization that the Congress is promising to ban should it come to power in Karnataka. Now, the Bajrang Dal is a right-wing outfit. It's an offshoot of the Vishva Hindu Parishad. Now, remember, the PFI, the Popular Front of India, which is already banned, is an offshoot of the Simi and Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh. The Bajrang Dal was formed to attract Hindu youth in India. The PFI, it says, was formed to counter Hindu groups like the Bajrang Dal in India. The Bajrang Dal is accused of attacks on minorities in Karnataka, including Christians as well as Muslims. The PFI has been linked to global terror organizations, and that's why it was banned. The Bajrang Dal has indulged in moral policing in the past, especially in coastal Karnataka. The PFI has an ISIS link established in some cases, according to the reports about them. I'm going to go over now to India Today's Nabila, who's in Bengaluru live with some Bajrang Dal activists speaking out for the first time on the Congress's promised ban on their organization. Nabila, over to you. Get us those reactions. First, from the Bajrang Dal.
Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram!
Right, Shiv, I'm actually right here where Bajrang Dal in Bengaluru, which is not very prominent in various parts, but along the Vijayanagar area, there's a strong presence of the Bajrang Dal, as there's a very big Hanuman temple right in the vicinity here. So I'm trying to get voices from them. How would they look at this proposed ban of the Congress on Bajrang Dal? You are the chief of the Bajrang Dal in this region. Why don't you tell us how would you look at the Congress's proposal to ban you?
Yesterday they have included in manifesto itself,
yes,
stating that Bajrang Dal and PFI, whereas PFI has been banned throughout the country long back itself due to their whatever the activities were there. It was proved that the PFI was against India. That's why they banned it. But Congress, what they are stating, they will be
comparing PFI to Bajrang Dal.
Whereas Bajrang Dal is not an organization where we are against India or you are against...
not a terror organization.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bajrang Dal is not concerned with the anti-national activities. Wherever you can see, we can give ample of examples regarding the
cow slaughter. We have avoided such activities which has been, Bajrang Dal team has been actively involved in the national integrism and nationality. We totally condemn this activity, and the manifesto which has been included in the Congress agenda, this is completely politically, they have been trying to
politically motivated move. But what would you say to the Congress who says that Bajrang Dal involves in illegal activities like moral policing, assaulting women in pubs? These are cases that have been registered in coastal areas.
Those are not actually from the Bajrang Dal. They might portray that it has been done from the Bajrang Dal, but actually they don't have proper evidence to prove it in the.
Madam, what about you?
Bajrang Dal is not a small organization. It has got more than 25 lakhs people in all over.
25 lakh people in India or in Karnataka?
In Karnataka, in India.
India or Karnataka?
पूरे भारत में बजरंग दल की जो संख्या कम से कम 25 लाख कार्यकर्ता हैं, और अभी जो कांग्रेस ने जो अपना मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज किया है, आपने बराबर की है कि शैतान से साधु की बराबरी की है।
शैतान से साधु का?
कहाँ शैतानी सोच वाले और कहाँ साधु सोच वाले। साधु सोच का मतलब ये है कि
साधु सोच वाले में बजरंग दल के विंग पे इतने सारे क्रिमिनल केसेस भी
कहाँ क्रिमिनल केस हुए? अगर वो हुए तो बजरंग दल से हटके हुए होंगे। अगर मैं बजरंग दल का कार्यकर्ता हूँ, मैं अगर बाहर जाके कोई अगर लड़ाई करता हूँ, अपने पट्टे के साथ हमला करने का कोई ऐसा इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है।
आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कंडेम नहीं करती है जब मॉरल पुलिसिंग होता है?
देखिए, हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मैं सीधा मुद्दे पे आना चाहूंगा। कांग्रेस ने मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज किया है, उसमें उन्होंने बराबरी की है पीएफआई और बजरंग दल की। बजरंग दल का काम क्या है? लोगों की सेवा करना। हमारे यहाँ ऐसा कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं होती कि हम किसी का सर कलम करते हैं, किसी बहन बेटी को कन्वर्सेशन करते हैं, किसी का ब्रेन वॉश करते हैं। वो हमारा काम नहीं है।
आप टेरर में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते हो, कन्वर्जन में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते हो, पीएफआई को कंपेयर करना ये गलत बात है। बहुत गलत बात है।
See, madam, my perspective is, basically Congress is trying to, they're playing a vote bank politics.
Right.
They're trying to appease other communities, right, by banning Bajrang Dal. They know that Bajrang Dal being an Hindu organization or a Hindu outfit, right, though it is a good organization which is doing good things for the people, but they want to appease the other communities just for the vote.
This is basically Muslim appeasement politics.
Yes.
Exactly. Did you say?
Exactly. It is completely, they are misguiding the society and they're just appealing for a particular community. Whereas Bajrang Dal is not concerned. I don't know why they are comparing Bajrang Dal with PFI. Legally, PFI has been banned in India.
What DK Shivakumar said today is basically don't compare Lord Hanuman to Bajrang Dal. Bajrang Dal is an outfit that does moral policing. वो बोल रहा है कि भगवान और एक आउटफिट का कंपैरिजन मत कीजिए।
बजरंग दल बजरंग बली से आया हुआ दल है। आपने हमारा लोगो देखा होगा, हमारे पीछे बजरंग बली बैठे हुए हैं, तो आप क्यों नहीं कंपेयर करेंगे? आप हम लोग बजरंग बली को मानने वाले हैं, और ये कर्नाटक में हनुमान जी का जन्म स्थान है।
लॉर्ड हनुमान एक लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, एक पीस और अहिंसा की और देखता है, मगर बजरंग दल एज एन आउटफिट अग्रेसिव है, वायलेंस में इंडल्ज करता है। ये कांग्रेस कहती है।
एग्रेसिव किस लिए एग्रेसिव है? आप हमारे बहन वीडियो पर अगर लव जिहाद करोगे, हम रुकने जाकर एग्रेसिव हो तो गलत है ये। आप हमारा धर्मांतरण करोगे, हम अपनी बहन को बचाने जाएंगे, वो एग्रेसिव है। अगर ये एग्रेसिव है तो हम जो करते सही कर रहे हैं, एकदम एग्रेसिव है। अपनी धर्म की रक्षा के लिए, अपनी बहन बेटी की रक्षा के लिए अगर एग्रेसिव होना होगा, अगर ये गलत है तो ये हम गलती रोज करेंगे।
Yeah, what he's telling is correct. It's exactly correct. We are not they are anti-illegal, no. We are to support. It's just
not illegal. You want to preserve your culture and your community, but why do you endorsing violence? There is no condemnation from your side when there are attacks. Bajrang Dal, if you Google, Bajrang Dal is involved in many cases of vandalism.
Who told you like that?
There is evidence on many articles in news portals.
Should not compare Bajrang Dal with other organization. Bajrang Dal is Bajrang Dal. Jai Sri Ram.
Jai Sri Ram. Never any illegal activities or any activities what you call that as anti-social activities. Right. It is not happening through Bajrang Dal. Those other peoples are doing and naming it under the Bajrang Dal banner.
So there are miscellaneous, some kind of elements, elements that are not associated with the Bajrang Dal here, who probably are indulging in activities like that. Do not paint a picture of the entire clan. The Bajrang Dal group here, Shiv, very angry with the Congress for likening them with the PFI, which is deemed as a terror organization and a banned outfit by the centre. This is the opposition that you get here from the Bajrang Dal members itself on ground, Bengaluru, in the poll-bound state of Karnataka.
So those are the first reactions you're getting from the Bajrang Dal in Bengaluru. They are very, very unhappy with being equated with the PFI, and they say that even if there have been some incidents, they have nothing to do with the Bajrang Dal. You'll see a longer version of that interaction between Nabila and the Bajrang Dal at 6:30 p.m. on her special ground report. But we've got some breaking news to take the story forward now on the Bajrang Dal ban promise by the Congress party. DK Shivakumar, the Congress's state president, has just spoken out on the Bajrang Dal showdown to say, I am a Hanuman Bhakt. We work towards peace. How can you compare Bajrang Dal and Lord Hanuman? DK Shivakumar has broken his silence on this very polarizing issue in state of war Karnataka. Let's listen in.
ನಾವು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರು, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತವರು ನಾವು ಶಾಂತಿ ತೋಟ ಕದಲಬಾರದು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಚಿಂತನೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಗಾಬರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳ್ಗೂ ಹನುಮಂತಂಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? ಹನುಮಂತನೇ ಬೇರೆ, ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳನೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಫಿಟ್. ಏನು ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಹೆಸರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಬಜರಂಗ್ ದಳ ಅಂತ. ಅವರು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನ ಮಿಸ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Okay, so DK Shivakumar, the latest Congress leader to come out to defend the pledge made by the Congress party about banning the Bajrang Dal should they come to power in Karnataka, and the narrative in many ways now shifting completely to this polarizing issue, and the Congress party finding itself being forced to defend and to sort of try and differentiate between the Bajrang Dal and Bajrangbali, because that is the nature of the attack on the Congress party by no less than the Prime Minister downwards in the BJP. I want to go across to India Today's Sagai Raj to understand how the Congress is dealing with the fallout of this promise. Sagai, it's been 36 hours since the Congress promised to ban the Bajrang Dal. How are they taking it? They seem to be very much on the defensive. For the first time in many weeks, the Congress seems to be on the back foot.
Absolutely. It has been served in a plate for BJP as well as their affiliated associations like Bajrang Dal, where they are protesting against Congress. In fact, there was silent protest today since Model Code of Conduct has been imposed in the state of Karnataka. There are no public protests which has been allowed by the Election Commission. And keeping all those things in the mind, the BJP is taking on social media as well as in public rallies, attacking Congress, saying that they are against Hindus. In fact, BJP MP Tejasvi Surya went on to say that this particular manifesto which has been released by Congress is not Congress. It seems to be like a party of Muslim League which is targeting Hindus. So they are comparing banning Bajrang Dal into attacking Hindus, whereas KPCC President DK Shivakumar, who has spoken to media, has given a clarification that there is a huge difference between Bajrangbali and Bajrang Dal, because Bajrangbali and is a god and he is a devotee of Hanuman, and Bajrang Dal is an organization which has involved in several communal attacks in the state. So he's saying that they are taking against the organization which has involved in communal rights, and there is no connection with religion and the organization.
Okay, Sagai, thanks very much for that. Congress appearing to be on the back foot on this, for the first time in many weeks. Usually it is the Congress that sort of sets the agenda and everyone else is reacting to it. Now the Congress appears to be issuing clarifications and counter, commentary after that pledge. And this, appears to be a topic which the BJP is comfortable with, and that's why the BJP has upped the aggression against the Congress party. And remember, only a few days to go for polling to end in Karnataka. Let's go straight to our big political face-off. On 5 Live, joining me live is Mohan Vishwa, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Lavanya Ballal of the Congress. Welcome, Mohan and Lavanya. Thank you for your time here on 5 Live. Lavanya, starting it off with you. Obviously, the Congress is not going to say, they made a mistake or whatever. But does it feel like the Congress is on the back foot? It seems like you've handed the BJP a big polarizing issue. It's a topic they are comfortable with. All this while, there were local issues that the Congress was raising. Now you seem to have handed the BJP a very juicy topic that they're very comfortable with.
Good evening, Shiv. No, it does not look like we are on the back foot. We have no necessity to be on the back foot. Here are a couple of things that they need to clarify. Why is it that the fringe elements of the BJP, whenever they indulge in antisocial activities, they take the cover of religion, they take the cover of God? Now, if these people are the peace-loving people, I have a couple of questions, right? I want to know, what is the agenda of Bajrang Dal? Is it to threaten people? Is it to hurt people? Is it to mine people? Is it to kill people? Because if they say none of this is true, I am a live example, Shiv Aroor. In 2020, on a live debate, they threatened to kill me for questioning moral policing that is happening in Dakshin Kannada by the Bajrang Dal people. Now, my question was simple. On what constitutional authority are the Bajrang Dal young men harassing the children in Dakshin Kannada and Udupi district? So their response was to threaten me on live TV to kill me.
But Lavanya, how politically prudent? You see, we can have a debate about all of these facts, and I'm happy to do that with you. I am talking about the political prudence, because what you have done now is given the BJP an issue where they have weaponry against you. So far, I'm being totally independent as an observer, because I've been in Karnataka for the last 1 week. It has seemed like the Congress has had the initiative on local issues. Now you've entered a space where the BJP gets to bash you and paint you as appeasers.
No, absolutely not, Shiv. See, when these people claim that they are speaking for the entire Hindu religion, they tend to forget that they only have 32% of the entire vote population that is voting for them. The rest of the Hindus do not like their religion being misused for the political purposes by the BJP. So when we say we will ban all anti-social organizations, which is claiming that they're affiliated with any religion, we are very clear. It doesn't matter which religion these anti-social organizations belong to.
Whether the Bajrang Dal, whether the Bajrang Dal should be banned or equated with the PFI is beyond the ambit of this particular debate. I am strictly focusing in my limited time on the political prudence of it. I'm going to be a cynical journalist today and focus on only the politics of it. Okay, so please bear with me on that, Lavanya. Mohan, and also Lavanya, see, the Prime Minister saying Jai Bajrangbali after every speech and roadshow. All political, BJP leaders have changed their profile pictures on social media to Hanuman. The Congress appears to be very, very defensive now, saying no, sorry. Bajrangbali has nothing to do with Bajrang Dal. You guys are, clarifying now. For the first time in many weeks, the Congress is clarifying instead of the BJP. All this while, Nandini, Amul, Kannadigas, all this stuff, the BJP were the ones who were clarifying and appearing to be on the back foot. Now it seems that the Congress has saying, no, that's not what we meant. Bajrang Dal has nothing to do with Bajrangbali. Mohan, bring you in on that first comment.
Say, Shiv, the anti-Hindu mindset and the appeasement mindset of Congress is not new. The same thing they have continued in their manifesto, even now in 2023. Also, if you recall, in 2014, when the Kerala government submitted affidavit in the High Court stating that PFI was responsible for serial killings in Kerala, in 2015, post that, the Congress government in Karnataka took over more than 1,500 cases against those PFI Karyakartas. What did they do? The agenda of PFI was to what? To create a disrespect in the society, to create unrest in the society, not only in the Karnataka, in entire India. That is what they had. If you remember, they had a document, which clearly states how to kill, where to kill. These are the mindset which PFI had and which they executed also. Basis that only PFI was banned. And there was reports which states that, they had a direct link with ISIS. You tell me, where did Bajrang Dal have a link with those kind of terror outfits? No.
I understand what you're saying, Mohan, but I'm just saying I don't want to get into whether the Bajrang Dal deserves to be banned or not. That is a completely separate debate. Once we do a debate on that in the next couple of days, we'll bring out all the facts and figures. In fact, you just heard our conversation with some Bajrang Dal activists where, we question them about many of the things they stand accused of. I am asking about the political prudence of it, because there is a sense, and Mohan, quick answer on this, that you're accusing the Congress party of appeasement. The Congress party, some analysts believe, has made this decision because they're worried about the splintering Muslim vote with the SDPI, the JDS, etc. in the flow.
See, Shiv, I want to tell you one more thing. This is again a false promise or false propaganda as far as Muslims are concerned by Congress. What is the contribution of Congress to Muslims, you tell me? In 1971 also, Indira Gandhi went for election stating that Garibi Hata. 2019 also, Rahul Gandhi told the same thing. Even now also, they're telling the same thing. What they have done, they have misused Muslims, they have misled the Muslims just for the sake of vote. That's what they've been doing. Let me recall one more incident which has happened 3 years back in Bangalore, where Congress, their own Dalit MLA house was torched by same PFI and other Karyakartas. What did Congress do? They never stood with that with this MLA. They stood with this PFI outfits. So this is the kind of mindset Congress has for several decades. It's not today or yesterday. It is there from since independence. Rather, I can say, if I start keeping on giving an example, I can go back to Rajiv Gandhi's Shabanu case and all. If I get into that deeper, it clearly shows that Congress has this typical mindset of appeasement, not from now, from decades together. Same thing they have continued even in the state of Karnataka also. Okay. That's all. And their contribution in the development of Muslims is zero. Okay, as far as we are concerned, come on. So we were the ones who banned triple talaq.
You made a comprehensive comment. Let Lavanya respond to that. Lavanya, the BJP says this is naked appeasement. The Congress is worried in these last heat overs over its Muslim vote bank, which it's trying to cling on to and which it has done nothing for in all these years. How would you respond to that? They're saying this is just cynical appeasement and nothing else.
Yeah, BJP would like people to believe that Hindus do not vote for Congress. It is only the Muslims and Christians who vote for the Congress. But that is not true. And appeasement politics that the BJP claims always, we would like to ask, sir, haven't you been appeasing all of these communities? Every time you come up with a manifesto or a promise, there's a lot of appeasement. But when BJP makes these promises, those are promises, but those are not appeasement. But when any other party does it, it is appeasement. Let me be very clear, Shiv, the BJP knows for sure they're losing the state. Congress is winning with 146 seats in Karnataka as of today. That is our latest set of numbers for Karnataka. We are not worried. It is a BJP which is shaken and they are clinging to anything possible.
But Lavanya, the Congress wants to blow past this whole Bajrang Dal issue as quickly as possible. There is a sense of discomfort because this is territory that is dangerous for the Congress. Let's be honest, because
Shiv,
Again, permit me, the issues so far, like Nandini, Amul, they're all local issues with local emotions and local, feelings attached to them. Now you've made it a whole, nationalism, right-wing versus left-wing, Hindu versus Muslim, which has so far been very muted in this election. I spent the last 3-4 days in coastal Karnataka, and there is not much Hindu-Muslim stuff happening there. I'll be very honest with you. I was pleasantly surprised to see. And now you guys have just dropped that bomb, Lavanya.
Well, Shiv, yes, it may look like that, but let me be very honest with you. This is not going to affect our chances. This may look like an unwanted diversion, which might look like something positive for the BJP, but trust me, on ground, there are different issues that is affecting the voters, and that's what their focus is on.
Okay. Mohan, everyone from your, the junior most Karyakartas all the way to the Prime Minister, everyone has taken up this issue in a big way. So clearly the BJP is grabbing onto this with all hands and they see this as a chance to turn the narrative in some way or the other. For 30 hours since the announcement, BJP has not been talking about anything else.
See, Shiv, as I told you earlier in my second remark, the contribution of Congress towards Muslim development is also nothing. They create an issue with hijab. They were the one who started. They spoiled the education of those, Muslim women, kids who are going to the college, and they opposed triple talaq ban. So this is how they treated Muslims just for the sake of vote land. As far as Hindus are concerned, again, when it comes to Hindus, they do all these anti-Hindu activities. By bringing something to ban Bajrang Dal. The cases which were booked against Bajrang Dal in the past, most of them were booked during Congress regime, Congress rule. Please do understand. We have to take that also into consideration. Okay. That's the way Congress treats Hindu Karyakartas. So, this is how they behave. They are habitual offenders, Shiv. They're doing it from past several decades. They're doing now. They will do it in future also. And the people of Karnataka obviously know this.
Okay. We were losing a bit of that audio, but last comment from you, Lavanya, which is, we just heard your state president in Karnataka say, that he is a Hanuman Bhakt. I mean, that's what this issue has done. You've got the BJP making all Congress persons say they are Hanuman Bhakts at this time. It's like the tables have turned. It's exactly the kind of conversation that the BJP wants. Instead of talking about potholes and Nandini and Amul and all these local issues, you've got DK Shivakumar saying he's a Hanuman Bhakt.
Yeah, well, it may last another few hours, Shiv. Like right now, the consumption of all of this takes only a couple of days at the max. And within the third day, the attention of these people will move on to something else, which is really, really crucial and essential. I'm sure people will go back to the price rise, gas, and the petrol issues once again in next few hours. So it's okay. It will die down. We are not very concerned. And like DK sir said, I don't think this is this is a question about who is not a Bhakt or who is a Bhakt. It is a question about anti-social organizations. Simple.
Well, 5 days to go for campaigning in the lovely state of Karnataka. Hanuman, goes the legend, was born in Karnataka. The Prime Minister is going to be there. Yogi Adityanath, who has brought up Hanuman many times before, is going to be there. Yes, last comment, 30 seconds, Mohan.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to react to Lavanya where she said, people will go back to price rise and all. Yes, obviously, people will go back and check what is the rate of petrol in Karnataka and what is the rate of petrol in Rajasthan. They are going to check the fake promises which Congress made in Chhattisgarh, which they are not able to fulfill with the farm.
Okay. Thanks very much, Mohan, Vishwa and Lavanya. We'll leave it there for the moment. Will the Congress get its wish, and will the narrative sort of blow past this whole Bajrang Dal Hindu-Muslim issue and move on to the more substantive issues on the ground, locally speaking? Or will this continue to be the dominant issue? We'll keep a track of that story. State of War Karnataka continues to be our big focus here on India Today. We've got some breaking news coming in now. Okay, big international news breaking from the Russia-Ukraine war. Russian air defense systems have reportedly intercepted 2 Ukrainian drones targeting the Kremlin overnight. We've got pictures coming in, huge claim coming in from Russia. Is this some kind of an attack on the Kremlin that was being planned by Ukrainian forces with the help of NATO? This is something that could easily trigger an all-out conflict between Russia and the rest of Europe. Russia claims that it has shot down 2 Ukrainian drones that were looking to mount an attack on the Kremlin in Moscow. Big claim coming in. The unmanned drones were down. There are no victims or material damage, but you can see smoke billowing from the Kremlin. It is not clear what kind of damage has been caused. The Kremlin says that it is considered the attack to be a planned terrorist action, saying that 2 drones had been used in this attack. Both have been disabled by Russian defenses, says the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has not been injured and there is no substantial damage to the buildings, says Russia in an official statement. Let's go straight across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, live with me on the story. Geeta, huge tensions already between Russia and Ukraine. This time images on our screen of smoke coming out from the Kremlin, and they say that they've shot down 2 Ukrainian drones.
Well, that's right, Shiv. These are reports that are coming in. It's alarming. The situation will only get worse. We do know that just a couple of weeks ago, there was an attack in a neighboring village well within Russian territory, among the first maybe of Ukraine actually entering Russian territory and attacking people in Russia. And now we're looking at reports. These are reports. There is no particular confirmation, and we still have to wait for a response from the Ukrainian side. But 2 drones that Kremlin has says is Ukrainian have been shot down, and they are considering this an assassination attempt against President Putin. So it's a very, very serious matter, and we will have to see how Russia responds to this to the situation.
Okay, Geeta, thanks very much for getting us the latest on that. Geeta, tracking those developments. Also want to get in Gaurav Sawant, who, like Geeta, was in Ukraine and Russia covering the war. Gaurav, what are you making of this huge claim by Russia?
Shiv, 1, Russia's put images out. 2, this would be a huge escalation. Remember, this is the time that Ukraine was talking about its spring or summer offensive. Ukraine was amassing a large amount of weapons and ammunition, claiming that they would be taking this war into the Russian camp. And just a couple of days back, a number of missiles, by some accounts, more than 100 missiles and rockets had been fired by Russia. In one instance, destroying the biggest ammunition depot of Ukraine, where a large number of Western ammunition, arms and ammunition had been stored. Now that Russia claims that this was a direct assassination attempt, and that too in the heart of Moscow, in Kremlin.
Yeah.
Shiv, you and I have reported from Kremlin, this is as safe as Russia, as secure an area as Russia can get. This is where Russia is claiming that 2 drones from Ukraine came and tried to target the Kremlin, Putin's residence, Russian President Putin's residence. That was the attempt. Putin, of course, wasn't home at that time.
Gaurav, what are you making of this huge claim by Russia?
Shiv, this indeed would lead to huge escalation and perhaps retaliatory strikes, and retaliatory strikes which would not be limited just to some areas in Ukraine, but perhaps a massive attack. You'd recall, Shiv, just recently 100 missiles and rockets were fired, including some around Kyiv. Now perhaps Russia will escalate in a very big way before that Ukrainian offensive was to start.
And Gaurav, the fact that they're talking about 2 drones, and I'm assuming these were, if this claim is accurate, then these would be 2 UCAVs or, combat drones that have been shot down. We don't know, we have no idea what kind of drones these were, what capability they were. How did Ukraine, get the capacity to send drones as far as Moscow from Ukraine? Was NATO involved in this? What kind of air defense penetration happened? All of those unanswered questions are there right now. But if this bears out factually, Gaurav, this could be an act of war.
Shiv, this very directly would be an act of war if the head of state in Russia was being targeted by the Ukrainians. And you're absolutely right. Does Ukraine have the capacity, or was this capacity given to them or smuggled through the North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries? And this truly would mean massive escalation.
Yeah.
Incidentally, there already is a lot of pressure on several European countries to back down on weapons supplies to Ukraine if you want to bring this war to a quick close and bring them on the negotiating table. So it remains to be seen what happens over the next several hours and days, and how massive would Moscow's retaliation be, Shiv.
Stay with me, Gaurav. We also have with us Ksenia Kondratieva, who's a reporter in Russia. She joins us live from Moscow. Ksenia, thank you very much for speaking to us. Big claim by the Russian government about an attempted drone attack on the Kremlin by Ukraine. What more details can you give us? Okay, we'll try and re-establish that link with Ksenia. She's joining us live from Moscow. I just want to tell our viewers that the images you see on your screen are from the Kremlin. These have been officially released by Russian state media. It's a picture of the Kremlin in the evening, and you can see smoke billowing out. Even though the Kremlin statement says there has been no material damage to the building, Vladimir Putin himself is not at the Kremlin and was not at the Kremlin when the attack took place, according to the Russian statement. But no further information has been put out. What were these drones? What kind of weapon they were carrying? Where they took off from? All of that is a complete blur right now, because these are the literal initial minutes when this news is being broken. Gaurav, in the last few weeks, post the first anniversary of the war, there have been several occasions in which the NATO factor has become quite heightened, forcing Russia to crank up the aggression in terms of the threat factor of a possible retaliation. Now, given that matrix of threat, an attack on the Kremlin could easily justify a massive response. And Russia, as you've been reporting, Gaurav, has been fully poised for that kind of thing. They've practically been itching to do something big.
Shiv, You've hit the nail on its head, especially when it comes to Russian response, because Russia for quite some time was getting its weapons and systems together to escalate. It has to a large extent been successful, especially in recent weeks, what is, as you well know, is known as SIAD, suppression of enemy air defenses.
Yeah.
They've succeeded in suppressing Ukraine's air defenses. Ukraine's president, Ukraine's foreign minister, Ukraine's ministers overseas have been saying that they desperately require longer range missiles. They need not just the Patriots but also the F-16s fighter jets to be able to take on the incoming Russian missiles. And only very recently, one of the top American generals conceded that all the propaganda, and he used very harsh words. He said all this talk in the Western media and in Western circles that Russia was on the verge of collapse isn't actually true. Russia's undersea capabilities remain largely intact, and Russia is now more aggressive. Russia's missile power remains intact and is becoming more aggressive. And we saw that as late as last week when Russia, fired a volley of missiles on multiple cities in Ukraine, taking down the biggest ammunition dump in Ukraine, where ammunition that was meant for this massive counter-offensive was stored. A train that was carrying some of those weapons and systems was also targeted. So very clearly, the Western assessment of Moscow's power, especially after the sinking of Moskva, you'd recall the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet. After that, Russia has really changed its tactics, some of which we are watching now, and some of which the apprehension is the escalation will only happen now. The summer offensive may just be from the Russian side and not as much from the Ukrainian side.
Very, very, disturbing developments here, and these are pictures coming in from the, from the Kremlin itself, where the only visual indicating something of this kind has happened is a large plume of smoke emerging from the Kremlin itself. The Kremlin has said that Vladimir Putin was not at the Kremlin when this attack took place. New pictures coming in now, more pictures coming in of the Kremlin. Okay, we're going to try and decode these images. It looks like the Kremlin is putting out videos incrementally right now. Night images over the Kremlin that appear to show the drones being neutralized. As far as we can tell, these are images of 2 drones as the Kremlin claims. And I want to be very clear right now, viewer, that these are claims being made by Russia. There is no way we can authenticate these claims at this point of time. But this is the Russian government saying that 2 armed Ukrainian drones have been shot down or neutralized over the Kremlin, and that this was an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. How will Russia respond is going to be really the big alarming question at this point of time. If Russia is officially claiming that 2 Ukrainian drones were on an assassination mission, a hunter-killer mission to kill the Russian President Vladimir Putin, then that would justify a massive response from Russia. Russia, remember, invaded the Ukraine last February. It's been a grinding war ever since, with a huge amount of missile attacks already. Could this be the big summer offensive that Gaurav Sawant, our managing editor, who was in Ukraine for the longest time, one of the first journalists to reach there as well, is now analyzing and predicting at this point. Gaurav, what is the current situation as far as the politics is concerned between Ukraine and Russia? There have been talks of possible, dialing down of tensions between the 2 countries, but something like this could trigger a complete maximum escalation, which is precisely what you're looking at.
That would be the apprehension, because if there is an assassination bid on the Russian President Vladimir Putin, then Russia's response would be massive, given the fact that as far as Europe is concerned, in Germany there have been some protests against German weapons being sent to Ukraine. There is some talk, at least in parts of Europe, that tension needs to be dialed down between Moscow and Kiev. But as far as the Americans are concerned, President Biden, he's been talking about, giving more weapons, more money. Very recently, just a couple of days back, he spoke of, more than $300 million worth of weapons and systems being sent to Kiev to carry on this fight. Now, the American political assessment is that they would be able to defeat Russia. That's the only aim that they are hoping to achieve. But American generals, and especially American generals in charge of this region, are far more factual of the assessment of the situation on ground, and they are saying that Russia's war-fighting capabilities to a very large extent not only remain intact, but Russia also is now more aggressive in the Atlantic Ocean, which is a bigger message that is being sent out, that the Russian undersea power is very aggressive in the Atlantic Ocean, and Russia has fired a very large number of missiles at Ukraine very recently. They've used both long-range missiles and their air power at Ukraine, where Ukraine is woefully short of air defense systems, whether it's the S-300 systems, and more than 1 year of fighting, they haven't been able to get enough air defense weapons to be able to stop the Russian onslaught.
Gaurav, stay with me. Both of us are joined now by Ksenia Kondratieva. She's a reporter in Moscow. Ksenia, I hope you can hear me. Dramatic images, big claim coming from the Russian government. What more can you tell us, Ksenia?
We have few details by now, and you have outlined most of them.
Yes.
But what is important is that to say this was unexpected, we cannot say so. It was, I would say, very much expected, at least for those who don't have any illusions about what's going on, with Ukraine conflict and what's going on the front line. Ukraine, I've heard you saying, we doubt whether Ukraine had the capabilities. Ukraine has capabilities, and those kind of, I'm not a military expert to claim anything here, but the UAVs, the drones don't have to come from the Ukrainian territory. We've seen so many attacks on the critical infra, on the power infra, on the railways, just within last few days and before as well. So not all of these explosives have to come from the territory of Ukraine. Anyone who supports or whatever, who is employed, can install those devices. So that's not a big deal, I would say. But yes, the case, the attack on Kremlin, of course, is a huge thing, and it can lead to escalation. We have to see what is the response. So far, Russia has, mildly. We have to see what's going to follow. I think that's a big development. And the fact that it's happening just before the celebrations of Victory Day on May 9th, and the parade is happening at the Red Square. I think it may affect the plans, despite the authorities said that for now the plan is set. But again, it's a very big thing, because no such event is completely secured. That's what we can understand now, that it's a big risk for the general people, for the masses, and that's how Russians will understand it.
Ksenia, I don't know if you're able to watch all of the videos coming in. There's a very dramatic video that's just come out on Russian social media of the drone appearing to hit one of the domes of the Kremlin. We cannot authenticate this, but this is video footage coming out on Russian social media. This would appear to be a huge provocation. If all of this is accurate, this would justify a major escalation and a response from Russia. I know it's very early minutes yet, Ksenia, but what is your sense of how Russia may react?
We could see there is always a talk about red lines, or dark red, or maroon, or whatever you name it, and every time this kind of attack happens, starting with Crimean Bridge, killing of the journalists. Now it's 2 of them have been killed. One of them have been killed just a month back here in St. Petersburg, and I've been at the place of the attack just minutes after that happened. And the attack didn't kill just one person, it has injured 30 more. So, of course, this is something that, one would expect should not be tolerated, but so far there has been no response as such, and that's what those hardliners, the hawks in Kremlin, in the government, have been criticizing the commanders for, that there have not been yet a response, despite all kind of lines are crossed. So it's difficult to say. It's difficult. It's too early to say right now, and especially to predict what kind of a response it can be.
And
so let's wait and see.
Definitely, and because hitting the Kremlin is hitting the heart of the Russian administration and the government. And right now on social media, I was just scrolling through Ukrainian social media, Ksenia, and I'm sure you've done it as well. But a lot of the Ukrainian social media is now going to be making fun of Russia. They say, you wanted to end the war in Ukraine in 3 days, and now you're talking about a drone attack on Kremlin. So Putin's plan is not going very well. So that narrative has also begun now.
Oh, that narrative is very old, and believe me, every terroristic attack in Russia, every killing of people or injuring people in Russia is celebrated there. So that is not anything new, unfortunately. So here I don't see any change in narrative. But yes, of course, attack on Kremlin is not an attack on some power line or some railway track. It's different, and if it is equal to an assassination attempt, that there could be a big retaliation, I believe.
And that retaliation, do you think it could come soon? It could come later? Could the Russian president speak out on this as well?
I would not jump into. I would not jump to any predictions.
Understood.
Let the Kremlin decide.
Ksenia, last question. Do you think is it likely or possible that the Russian president will speak on this or make a speech?
Probably we should see, probably, but I don't really expect it that way or to happen soon. But maybe.
All right. Ksenia, appreciate it. Thanks very much. Stay safe. We'll keep in touch with you on this big developing and unfolding story. Thanks a lot, Ksenia, for being with me here on that news break. 4 different images, 4 different videos that have emerged. All of them first, as always, here on India Today. Remember, India Today was the first Indian journalistic team that was in Ukraine reporting the war. We're going to leave you with these pictures. This continues to be our top story on the other side of the break. We'll have an update and a reporter from Ukraine as well joining us right after this. Stay with us.